Hey, Colorado Springs. This is Jenny Bayless, and I am back with Leah Keeling. Leah, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I wanted to have you on to chat about a Colorado Springs room by room house hack.
Yes.
So, this one's really exciting. I know the client, wasn't sure where she was going to be living.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Colorado Springs kind of spoke to her. I'm not sure how much from it's really beautiful down here / the numbers make great
Mm-hmm.
sense, or, how she was able to solidify her decision there. But yeah, she ended up settling with Colorado Springs, kind of in the center of town.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell everyone a little bit about this particular house and how you guys were able to acquire it?
Yes. So she is a Denver-based investor. I think she has a mountain investment property, and she was just looking for a change, something where the numbers worked better. And, like you said, a combination of the numbers down here are much more attractive than up, the cities north of us. And she really wanted to be close to like hiking trails.
Mm,
So this particular house is not far from Palmer Park at all. So
yeah.
she was very set on she wanted to be near Palmer Park, and also somewhere where she could jump on I-25 and commute up, because she does work in the office, here and there up in
Okay.
Denver. So
Okay.
a little bit of a commute for her, but this one is just located in a perfect spot where she can just hop on the I and head up. She's close to hiking trails. She's close to downtown. So this particular property, she fell in love with it because it has like a farmhouse porch.
Oh, nice.
She was like, she just really fell in love. I think it was the first house we went to see. Yeah, it was the first house we went to see. I
Does
think
the porch face Pikes Peak by any chance?
it doesn't. It faces
Oh,
the
wow.
other direction, but
Okay.
then the house is kind of interesting. It's like a 3-bed, but then they did an addition at some point and added like a whole back side of the house with 2 more bedrooms. And so there's a beautiful yard that faces Pikes Peak.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, so she does have Pikes Peak views. Um, yeah, so we came across this one. There was multiple offers. I think there was 2 other offers. The seller was very tough, very tough on us. They had been under contract before and it fell out for buyer financing or something. So it was like we were coming in after a bad relationship and we had to
Mm,
deal with the baggage.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, that's super fascinating that you mentioned that, because I feel like I'm going to toot your horn here, but you're very good at kind of like smoothing over, like, you know, like what people have been smacked in the face, a little
mhm.
bit. But yeah, just kind of proving that this buyer is, a good buyer, and giving that seller the confidence in you guys.
Yes, it was definitely tough. They had a prior inspection and from, their previous buyer, and they didn't even want inspection deadlines or anything on the contract. And I really had to fight for days
Hmm.
for it. We're just trying to figure out like how to sweeten the deal in other areas, but still let her have some sort of rights in the
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
So it was
So
tough. It was days and days of negotiating, but
can
we
can we talk about that real quick? Because
Mhm.
I really don't like it when sellers provide an inspection report,
Mhm.
and kind of expect the buyer to take it or leave it. And I know that's pretty common, especially, over the last couple of years. That was super common.
Mhm.
But I really like, yes, that's great, but I see it as kind of like another piece of information. But the buyer really needs to have their representative, their inspector go in and
Mhm.
take a look at the house. I don't care if it's from the same company. Like, I would just want, a set of eyes that I'm paying for.
Mhm.
And whether or not anything discovered is negotiable or not, but just having that opportunity to walk if there's a deal breaker.
Mhm.
Kind of, is that kind of how you guys looked at it, or did you guys have a different opinion on that?
No, I have the same opinion as you. I just, we're always want the best for our clients. And so I told her these are your options. They don't even, they're fine with you doing an inspection, but you can't object to anything, or,
Hmm.
they don't even want you to have a termination deadline. Um,
Well, that's not good.
yeah. So I'm like, you can do this, but this is, what's going to happen. So
Yeah,
it was definitely tough. I was able to negotiate an inspection termination deadline, but
great.
we had to do a first right of refusal.
Okay.
So that was interesting. Like, I haven't had that happen too many times.
Yeah,
And they were still showing the property, and yeah, that's pretty much how we were able to agree on the deal. And then um they had the other offer they were considering was like a 14-day close, or it was something short, so we had to beat that. We had I think we did it in 12 days.
wow.
Yeah.
Man, they really were arming you guys.
Oh, they were strong arming. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important to kind of also point out that you guys purchased it for 359,
Mhm.
which is below median. So there's
Mhm.
still a lot of activity. Do you
Yeah.
guys know if the other buyers, if they were homeowners as well, or if they were investors, or do you?
I don't
Okay.
know about the other offers, but I will say, just being out in the markets, just even over the past like month and a half, um it's like you're having to negotiate a lot more than just a few months ago. So I
Mhm.
think that's important for people to know, like, it's
Yeah.
still a seller's market. You're just like, you can negotiate, I would say, concessions a little more, which this one we did actually get concessions. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely getting it's just hotter out there for sure. It's still a seller's market, multiple offers on things. So, yeah.
I think that's good context for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, how'd you guys negotiate the seller credits? Was that at your original offer, or was that later down, or how did that go?
I believe it was on. Oh, yeah. So the seller he was okay with concessions, but he wanted it reflected in the offer price. So basically just financing your own concession
Okay.
was how it was.
Yep.
So I think we offered 369 and we had a 10K concession.
Okay.
Yeah, and then through our inspection that we were able to do, we found that the sewer line was, like, needed replaced.
Okay.
And so, we were able to negotiate that. So, h how we did that was
Oh, interesting. Okay.
so we dropped the purchase price,
Mhm.
the cost of the sewer line replacement, and we were still able to keep our concession.
Okay, yeah, I
Mhm.
think you just, mentioned some really interesting pieces of information there. So, I think you've just proven that even if you don't have inspection objection, that does not preclude you from being able to renegotiate still.
Yes,
So just
exactly.
yeah, so, you don't have the right, to object, and they don't have the right, they don't have the obligation to listen to you or,
Mhm.
accept or deny it. But, you kind of presented it to them and you said, "Look, probably anyone who's
Yes.
coming through this house are gonna have an issue, with this, so you can either close with us, and we're
Mhm.
still a very, good buyer, or you can take it back off or take it back on the market and see what happens."
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
great job on that negotiation. So yeah, that's I think something that people don't often think about is that, just because the contract doesn't say you can or cannot
Mhm.
negotiate doesn't mean you can, have those discussions with the seller. So great
Yes.
job on that.
Yeah,
Um,
they worked out, so, yeah, it was
yeah.
good.
And I like the part that you said finance your own concessions. I think people are probably starting to do that again more frequently
Mhm.
because the appraisals are still reflecting the higher value. So
Mhm.
you can, as you said, finance a concession, which then, either will reduce your rate or allow you to bring fewer to closing. So that's
Mhm.
also another really interesting point that you brought up. So sorry for the tangent, but I just kind of
Oh,
wanted
no.
to highlight those things.
Yeah, no, that it's important, market information that's going on right now. So,
Yeah, yeah. So you're being very creative in how you're getting these deals done. So I think that's awesome.
yeah, thanks.
Uh
I
yeah.
learned from the best.
so so you guys got this at 6.875% interest rate, which
Yes.
last year I would have gasped at, but now I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. So
I know. Yeah.
yeah, so that's
I
owner occupied too.
And I don't know if I even mentioned that the house details. It's a
Oh,
Me? I don't
we're
think
so
so.
excited about the numbers. So yes,
I know, we're so excited about the negotiations.
please do. Please go back for that.
It's a perfect, house hack room by room setup. It's a 5-bed, 2-bath, and then with that addition that I mentioned before, like that new backside of the house,
Mhm.
it's like it has a separate entrance. So she's gonna wall off the living room that's back there, because there's a living room in the front and then there's one in the back. So she's gonna wall that off and make it her studio.
Oh, cool. I
And
like that.
so it's a big enough room that she's gonna be able, and it already has plumbing. There's like a little kitchenette.
Perfect.
So she's gonna add a bathroom and just kind of jazz up the kitchenette area. So she's gonna have like her own, really nice space. She's really excited. She's like, I might not even move, like
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. If it works for her, I think that's a really good point to make is that, you are going to be living in this house, like you need to make it so that you
Hmm.
enjoy living there. So I think that's great. And that's what I'm assuming the $20,000 repair cost is going to be
Yes,
allocated to making
yes,
her space enjoyable for herself, which I think is awesome.
yeah.
And she's putting 5% down
Hmm.
because it's an owner occupied loan. And yep, that's kind of one of the benefits to a house hack is that you can take advantage of that low down payment
Hmm.
option. So what is she going to do for the income side of her house? We'll call it the income portion of her house. How is she planning on doing that?
Yeah, so she's kind of just figuring it all out right now. If she wants, how many roommates does she want? She can have 4 roommates,
Hmm.
and rent by rooms are around like 750. So that's how we ran them all. There's no master suite in this one. So usually we would be able to get a little more for like a primary that has its own bath.
Hmm.
But these are just all shared bathrooms. So we just ran it at 750 for the 4 bedrooms.
And it'll be 2 bedrooms per shared bath.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, that's pretty reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're estimating 3,000, and this is while she's living there, right?
Yes, while she's living there.
Okay, so she could technically, for occupancy limit, she could rent out her studio space if she ever chose to move out. So she does have
Mhm.
that option too, which, if it's a full studio, I don't know, are you guys guessing like maybe 900, nine
Mhm.
fifty for that room?
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean, and the house is 5 bedrooms. So,
yeah, yeah.
she's basically gonna have her little studio area and then, like, a room for herself as well, like an office or something.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so when she moves out, yeah, she'll definitely be able to do, like, a whole, 5-bedroom,
Great.
thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to be self-managing.
Mhm.
We've kind of highlighted on this that, kind of in the environment that we're in today, sometimes you have to do something that, you don't necessarily like doing. And, she's rolling up her sleeves and she's going to self-manage, which
Mhm.
hopefully is a little easier on her, given that it's in her own home. So, not a distance to have to travel there. And she's planning for 8% reserves.
Mhm.
And then kind of let's go into the additional expenses because this is what I always find to be interesting
Mhm.
for house hackers. So taxes at 1,300. You guys have insurance at 2,000.
Mhm.
Insurance probably seems reasonable, but taxes I'm sure are going to go up next year.
Yeah.
Um, and she's probably well aware of that, given all the news articles and everything.
Mhm.
So for utilities, you guys have, I guess I'll call it like the CSU
Mhm. Yep.
version of it.
CSU special.
Yep, 3,000 for the year for that.
Mhm.
And then $300 for trash, and then you guys have about $800 for internet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that all seems reasonable. How is she was she planning on doing in terms of like shared spaces just for cleaning or, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the cleaning. She is very hands-on, so, she's wanting to do the landscaping and, like, all those
Okay.
things, so
Hmm.
I don't know that she'll even, like, hire out for that,
Okay.
but maybe over time, once she gets settled, she has a lot of things that she wants to do,
Yeah.
with the property first, so.
Absolutely. And then, kind of like what we talked about, if she moves out, she can
Mhm.
use the income from her space to cover,
Yes.
cleaning or landscapers or
Mhm.
whatever. So things that she won't be there physically to do.
Yeah.
All right. So if we look at her cash flow tab here, she's got about 38,000 invested in this property. And a good chunk of that is the um, rehab costs to make her space, the 20,000.
Mhm.
She's only $18,000 in if she left it as is, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And by the time we look at her annual cash flow, she's spending about $300 a month to live here.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I don't know anywhere, that you can spend $300 a month to
There's
live and
there's
have your
no
own studio apartment, and so
I
that's pretty
know.
fantastic. So, yeah, is she pretty excited about reducing her living expenses so
Oh,
significantly?
yeah, she is so happy. I mean, for one, she fell in love with the property. Like, after our showing, she was like, I like walked in there and I had chills. Like, she loved it.
Oh,
I
that's
know.
wonderful.
Yeah, she loved it so it just worked out so good. I'm so happy for her. I just hope that she's, really happy there, which I'm sure she will be. So,
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, to love where you're living for $300 out of pocket
mhm.
while you're growing your equity, and her debt pay down alone makes up for that for the year. So
Yes.
that's
So,
pretty fantastic.
I'm curious, if you could go back to the inputs and just put in
Yeah.
like an after move out.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll say um we were saying like 950. So we'll say 900 for hers, which I think is very, very on the low end.
Mhm.
And we'll add in 1,000 for landscaping and
Yeah.
cleaning.
Mhm.
Right. So when she moves out, she'll be cash flowing 5,000 a year.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. So that's kind of like her choice there. That's a really good choice. Live in a house you really like and
Mhm.
$300 out of pocket, or move out and make 5,000 a year. That's a pretty good choice to have to make, I think. So
I know, that's definitely what I'd call a win-win. So
yeah. That's fantastic. Well, I'm super happy for you guys. I'm really happy for this client that, she loves her new home, and she's, building her rental portfolio while she's at it. So that's
Mhm.
fantastic. And thanks
Yes.
so much for coming on and sharing that and showing everyone what can be done in, today's interesting rate environment.
Mhm. Yes. Thanks for having me on, Jenny. It's been fun.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you.